This is what happens when regular people come up against football players. And first, we gotta start with the GOAT. Cause while this may look like a chubby homeless dude in baggy sweats, it's actually Cristiano Ronaldo in disguise. Yeah, in 2015, CR7 himself went through an entire makeover to make himself look completely different. Then with a fat suit, beard, and wig attached, he took to the streets of Madrid to play it off as a random homeless guy that had some mad football skills. And despite being probably the most famous guy in Spain, never mind Europe at the time, nobody could tell it was him. He was doing keepy-uppies, nutmegging random people, and showing off his insane dribbling. People were clearly surprised, but nobody knew the real reason why he was so skillful. He started turning it up and embarrassing anyone who tried to tackle him. But little did they know, he was turning every defender in La Liga inside out at the time. Then, after a few hours, he started to kick the ball about with a kid, and that's when he finally dropped the bombshell. Within seconds, he was mobbed. And that kid, he got to play street football with Ronaldo and had a signed ball as proof. That's crazy. But so is this. Because one day, a group of confident amateur players decided to test themselves up against a pro. And not just any pro. Javier Mascherano, Barcelona and Argentinian legend, 2 Champions Leagues, 5 La Liga titles, 2 Copa America trophies, and a career spent locking down the best attackers on the planet. But now at 38 years old, he was stepping onto the pitch to take on these guys.
Which one of you think that you can get past Mascherano?
I can. He's not informed, maybe.
Oh, he's not informed yet?
He's 12. I think that.
Confidence or straight up delusion? The challenge was simple. Each player had 2 attempts to dribble past Mascherano and score. But from the first whistle, it was clear this wasn't gonna be easy.
I'm younger and I'm fastest.
Hey, this guy spent years defending against Ronaldo and Gareth Bale. Speed alone wasn't gonna cut it.
Oh my god!
Dribbling? Yeah, that didn't really work either. And honestly, that was the story for every other player who stepped up. Nobody was even getting close. Then finally, it all came down to the last challenger, a semi-pro, dead set on beating Mascherano. It looked like deja vu, another failed attempt. But on his second try,
He's the best.
Si no, no hacíamos un gol.
he finally did it. The only player all day to score on Mascherano in a 1v1. Out of 10 tries, only 1 got through. And that was against a retired Mascherano. Imagine if he was in his prime. But it's nothing compared to taking on Neymar Jr. in a real 5-a-side match. See, Red Bull actually launched a global street football competition called Neymar Jr.'s 5. Tens of thousands of amateur players from all over the world entered. Small-sided games, fast-paced rules, and only the sharpest teams making it through. And after months of battling it out, the finalists were crowned champions. But then, they had to take on Neymar himself, the ultimate freestylist, the king of breaking ankles. I mean, this guy literally made opponents beg to not destroy them, and then he does it anyway.
Tava aquela história, vai vencer, parece que a galera não vai não, Theo.
Merciless. Literally an idol for the Brazilian finalist, and guaranteed to be pure entertainment for anyone watching. And the very first time Neymar got the ball, it wasn't because he was tackled. It was because his opponent's first move was to go for a selfie.
And getting a hug and a selfie.
Damn, bro took his opportunity. Then the game began, and in the first few minutes, the amateurs had all of the possession and got the goal to take the lead.
Which means that it's the Brazil side who have it back and have a chance and have a goal. Neymar's team are losing.
Yeah, people didn't expect that. And by the rules of the game, one of Neymar's teammates had to leave the field, meaning they were down a goal and a man. So then it was time for Neymar to take matters into his own feet.
Party moves. Here goes Neymar. Surge goal. Oh, how about that? The crowd enjoyed seeing him do that.
Step over, acceleration, shoot and score. It was as simple as that, followed by a cold celebration. Then, the ball was back with the amateurs. And here's the thing. Neymar was basically doing 0 tracking back and 0 pressing. Kinda like his PSG days. And after the opposition messed up a chance to take the lead, he was standing in perfect position to receive a long ball over the top and guide it into the goal in style.
Oh, that is magnificent. How about that from Neymar?
Sheesh. That's ridiculous! And from that point onwards, he started balling out, taking on the whole team and showing why he was literally the definition of Samba.
Looking to try and find the angle for a shot. Has found Neymar with a nice bit of skill. Oh!
Neymar was putting on a show. It finished 2-1. Now over in Norway, they were moving mad. See, Vålerenga, a club in the Norwegian top division, took on a team of 22 amateurs in a friendly experiment matchup. 22 versus 11. The theory? Double the numbers means double the pressure. The reality? That didn't exactly work out. Even with a huge numerical advantage and the ability to double up every pro, they were still miles off it.
1-0 bak. Trenger dere folk på kassa? Vi går litt til høyre, så går dere litt til venstre. Jeg skal ikke I mål! Bra, keeper!
Yeah, they had 15 men walls and 2 goalkeepers defending the net. But all of that wasn't enough. And within minutes, it was already 1-0 to the pros.
Keeper! Nei!
This wasn't even a challenge. The Vålerenga players were passing it around like it was a rondo drill. The amateurs were all out defending in their own half. They weren't parking the bus. They were parking the entire depot. But that still didn't stop the onslaught.
Bra, keeper! Ai!
This was the easiest game of those footballers' lives. And even though the amateur players weren't exactly elite athletes by any stretch, the experiment still showed that there was a major gap between regular people and a pro.
Trodde ikke han var så god. Var dere ikke 2, da? Vi var 3, tror jeg. Goller, ja. Fy faen!
In the end, it finished 4-1, which was probably a compliment to the losers, because this was a gentle reminder, it ain't easy. But we gotta talk about what happened when someone invited an ex-Arsenal baller to a casual 5-a-side match. See, it all happened when this guy showed up to an AstroTurf pitch in London and started telling people he was friends with Jack Wilshere, the former Arsenal player and original wonder kid, before his career was plagued by injuries. And naturally, they didn't believe it for a second, but little did he know, Wilshere was actually waiting in a car nearby, ready to join once he got the call.
He shows everyone, he goes, all right, they're not actually friends.
Yeah, I don't think you guys believe me, yeah?
And then he goes, right, don't believe me? Calls.
I'll call Jack Justin.
I'm coming, mate.
But before he even stepped onto the pitch, the stakes had been raised by an Arsenal fan wearing a Tottenham kit.
So who's your favorite Arsenal player?
No, I think my all-time favourite was definitely not Wilshere.
No, why not?
I never really rated Wilshere too much.
Damn, word said before disaster. Because not long after things kicked off, the man himself entered the pitch and joined in.
Jack! Bro, hey, my mate! Hey, I told you! He was the one who didn't believe.
Don't start shouting.
Nobody could believe their eyes that it was the actual real Jack Wilshere.
I believe, yeah!
Casually rocking up to an amateur kickabout. And honestly, some may have been thinking it was a lookalike. But once he started playing, the style was unmistakable.
Oh!
Yeah, inside.
Being out of the game and a career constantly on stop and start with injuries didn't seem to make a difference. His touch, control, and vision was elite. And funnily enough, his teammate was the very guy who said he didn't rate him.
Go on. Oh, nice. Oh, look at that.
Turns out they had some pretty sick chemistry. And it wasn't long before Wilshere was finding the net too.
Hey, well pressured. Go on, shoot!
But just like his professional career, it wasn't the goals that were the most impressive. It was his ability to put the whole opposition on ice. Yeah, class really is permanent. And from one street's won't-forget baller to the next, meet Berbatov, one of the most excellent strikers the Premier League has ever seen. 4-time Bulgarian Footballer of the Year, 2 Premier League titles with Manchester United, a League Cup, and a man who once scored 5 goals in a single match.
This could be 3-0 and game over. And it is. Space for Anderson if he can find him. Berbatov hat-trick. That is magnificent. Surely. Berbatov again. Berbatov has got 5 goals. United have got 7.
Berbatov wasn't just a striker. He was an artist. That first touch, pure velvet. That finishing, cold, clinical, ruthless. But one day, decided to put all of that class to the test in the most unlikely way possible. Because instead of Old Trafford or White Hart Lane, Berba turned it up at a random 5-a-side pitch in disguise. And so, the makeover began.
Your eye's falling off.
Then after hours of makeup and prosthetics, the final result was completely unrecognizable. And honestly, it's kinda scary. Baggy tracksuit, scruffy hair, fake beard. He looked less like a football legend and more like someone who'd been dragged in to make up the numbers. At first, the plan was for Berbatov to pretend he was terrible, just to further build up the surprise when he started trying.
You don't run around, you don't try.
The acting was top. Everyone was wondering who the hell this guy was and why he was even there. They straight up refused to even pass to him. Yeah, they had no idea who they were actually up against. And after an excruciating few minutes, it was time to drop everyone's jaw right to the floor.
Show them what you've got! When you hear me say that, you turn into Berbatov.
Well played, Uncle. Go on, Uncle. Go on, Uncle.
Then it was time to remove the disguise and unleash the real Berbatov.
My uncle's back, guys.
All right, get out.
Okay, my uncle's back. My uncle Berbatov.
All right, boys. Time. Yes.
Oh, what a ball.
Oh! Well done. There we go. Well done.
It was game over for the opposition. All those skills that made him a Premier League legend were still there, and at this level, it made him completely OP. The ball was glued to his foot. Every pass was cushioned. Every flick perfectly weighted.
Well done, well done, well done.
Yes, that's a hattie.
Thank you. Stratford then, thank you very much.
It wasn't 5 goals in the Premier League, but it was 3 goals and 3 assists, and everyone was blown away. Making sure the streets don't forget by playing street football on the ground level. But if you think those people were surprised, imagine being this Sunday League team. He's won the World Cup with Brazil. He's won the La Liga with Real Madrid. He scored the greatest free kick in history. But on this iconic day, Roberto Carlos ran onto the muddy pitch in Shropshire, England, wearing the colours of Bull and the Barn United. Yeah, you heard that right. The world-famous left-back returned to football for a Sunday League side after the club won a dream transfer raffle organized by eBay in 2022. The prize? A one-off appearance from a football icon. And in a warm-up session, he proved to everyone he was the real Roberto.
Minded everyone of what he is perhaps best known for.
Damn, still so clean with it. But don't get it twisted. This wasn't the same Roberto Carlos that tore it up in the Bernabeu, bombing down the wing for 90 minutes straight. He was 48 years old, and the stamina wasn't quite the same. In fact, he only came in as a second-half substitute, playing for just 8 minutes. But in those 8 minutes, he still gave the crowd their moment. When Bull and the Barn were awarded a penalty, there was only one man who could take it. Carlos stepped up the muddy pitch beneath them and calmly slotted it home. It didn't matter how short his cameo was. For everyone watching, it was pure Sunday League history. Man, that's just wholesome. And so is this. Because back in 2017, a matchup like none ever before was organized on the pitch of the Liverpool training ground. 2 Liverpool stars, Ronaldo and Felipe Coutinho, were selected to take on their toughest challenge yet, playing a football game against 30 kids. Yup, 30 Academy youngsters from the under-9 team all at once, charging at them like a red tidal wave. And just to make things a little bit more fair, Team Gini and Coutinho had their own under-9 goalkeeper protecting their net. Then it was time for them to play against the 10-9-9 formation.
A sight never seen on this pitch before. It's Gini picking up the possession. I'm sure Gini Wijnaldum has never faced as many defenders in his life.
And it was about as ridiculous as you can imagine. 2 Liverpool players, well known for their silky dribbling and passing, were completely overrun. There was barely any space to even turn. Despite that though, through smart play, they took their opportunity to counterattack and get the goal to go ahead.
There might be 30 players out there, but there's not a defender in sight. Coutinho and Gini Wijnaldum with the opener. There's Luca Johnson.
1-0 to the adults. But that didn't last long, because when the Nines got a corner, it was pure chaos.
Little flick again, and there's bobbling about in there, and it's touched in. And it's 1-1, Lennon Chadwick with the goal.
Yikes, it's even harder to defend against than Arsenal's corner kicks. And they didn't let up after that, making it 2-1 quickly afterwards.
There's a big chance again. Oh, and Mikey Such makes it 2-1. Brilliant bit of skill.
And look, being bigger, stronger, and faster is a huge advantage, but more numbers win at the end of the day. Because honestly, what do you even do in a situation like this?
And Charlie Huth took a little bit of a tumble, no relation to Robert. 10, 11, 12, 13 players
My guy was just being kicked by 15 kids all at the same time. The ball control to withstand it for that long was super impressive. And in the end, they got the ball and made it 3-1.
Opportunity here, it's a lovely cross. Oh, it's a lovely deft header. Finley Ansell, 3-1.
These two players had played against the Man City super team in the Premier League, but even that looked easier than this. Then at the end of the game, at 3-2, the Liverpool duo's keeper came out with a clutch save to keep him in it.
This would finish it off, and the goalkeeper absolutely brilliant.
Before Wijnaldum went up to the other end to equalize.
Pushing for the equaliser, and he could get it, and he does.
Finished the game 3-3. Yeah, Coutinho and Wijnaldum may not have been going all out like it was a Champions League final, but this game still showed two things: how elite the two pros' close control and dribbling was, and how safe the future of Liverpool was with those kids moving up the ranks. Now, we gotta talk about one of the wildest ambushes of them all, though. In 2016, Heineken set up a hidden camera stunt that dropped the Italian maestro right into a match with unsuspecting amateurs. Picture this: a group of everyday guys showing up for their regular five-a-side game in New York. They're lacing up, chatting tactics, completely unaware that one of the greatest midfielders in football history is about to walk through the door. He just strolls in as cool and composed as ever and leaves everyone starstruck.
Meet Andrea Pirlo doesn't get better than that on a Sunday.
I thought it was just going to be a photo shoot for the website, to be honest.
Oh, we weren't expecting it. His hair, magnificent. His shot, even better.
Yeah, this guy basically invented aura, and on a perfect pitch surrounded by New York skyscrapers, the vibes were immaculate. It was just a relaxed session with Pirlo playing a few passes and then watching on the touchline. Imagine the pressure of playing in front of the maestro. An experience like that, you'll remember it forever. But if you thought that Ronaldo and Berbatov had the disguise game locked down, wait until you see what Bayern Munich cooked up. Because in one of the wildest football pranks ever, Frank Ribery, David Alaba, and Rafinha decided to go undercover. Yeah, 3 Champions League stars, all kitted out in wigs, prosthetics, baggy street clothes. By the time the makeup artists were done, you'd never believe these guys had ever stepped foot in the alleys and arena. They looked more like random blokes somebody found in the local park rather than a bunch of Bundesliga winners. Yeah, right away, the locals were judging the book by its cover. And honestly, I don't blame them. But then it was time to play. And the amateur players' cocky smiles and smirks quickly turned into confusion. People watching didn't know what was happening in front of their eyes. Suddenly that scruffy old guy was cutting through defenders with effortless dribbling. That awkward rookie was threading passes between lines like Xavi. And that try-hard fullback, he was winning every challenge and pinging crossfield balls like it was nothing. Within minutes, the pitch was transformed into a Bayern highlight reel. And finally, the disguises came off. Ribery, Alaba, Rafinha, 3 Bundesliga legends right there in front of them. Everyone was stunned, but it also kind of made sense. Like there was no way those guys were that good. In the end, the whole thing was less like a prank and more like a lifetime experience for everyone who witnessed it. Damn, that's special.